Twitch, twitch, twitch. Reel. There it is. I'm on. There's a fish. There we go. There's one. No chance.
Good morning all, it's Corey. I'm about to head out to a creek that's a little deeper and a little protected from the wind this morning. Right now it's about 5 a.m. and I'm gonna go out with a friend. It's a little bit newer to saltwater fishing, so I'm gonna be teaching him some of the basics, and y'all can follow along. What I'm really gonna focus on is going up this creek as the tide comes in and probably catching some sea trout and hopefully picking up some bigger redfish. I'm gonna kind of play it by ear on his skill set, but probably sticking to some live bait. I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna try and net some mullet, and make sure you guys comment and just know that I appreciate your feedback. If you guys want to give me things that you guys want to see, I'm all for it. So let's go get that inshore slam, and I'm going to teach some of the basics of inshore fishing.
Y'all giving me hell. You seen any activity over here or anything?
I did get a bite.
Okay.
It just came off.
It's got a circle hook Carolina rig with a fish head on it. I'm gonna have you double up a little bit. I'm gonna put it right where I want it. Right there. That piling where I just hooked into that fish. Hand it back to you. But the good thing about this is you can do this kind of when you're by yourself to double your chances. You can have this rod out, kind of passively fishing for you, behind you, with a circle hook, just sitting there, and then it's not in your way at all because it's behind you. And you can cast with your artificial up to this oyster mound, and you're kind of doubling your chances.
Yeah.
That right there.
All right.
And it'll go off. Just give her a couple good yanks if you get something, because you want to pull it out of there.
Okay.
It might try to go under the dock, but this is a uni knot. Just do a loop around your mono, and that do 5 or 6 times.
Cool.
Then you can go to the other end. You do the same thing. Just wrap it around both lines. 6. Pull that tight.
Gotcha.
You got it not there and not there, and they both slide to each other, but you want to get it wet so it doesn't burn it and make it weaker. Saw some small bait kind of jump on the other side of that dock. Nothing too crazy. There's some bait fish maybe over here. Trying to look for those active fish, active dock. This is a great place to cast to, man.
Say what?
And cast up in there and cast up to the bank and up to these pilings here on the left when you cruise up here. There's definitely some fish around there. There's one. That feels like a flounder. So it's like it's staying down, and then it's got like little shivering head shakes. Okay. That's why I think it's a flounder. Yep. So cast on in there, man. See if you can catch something. So that's the first fish of the slam, man. We're gonna catch slams, both of us. All right. So that's a flounder. You'll just kind of let the water push you up against the dock on the end of it. So you'll turn that way and drift into the front of this dock, this floating dock right here.
Okay.
So that you're facing this pocket. Current's just kind of pushing you, anchoring against that floating dock. Okay. So like where I am right now, except just pushed against it.
Yeah.
And then as you're sitting there, you're gonna cast with your bottom rig, just right up there in that pocket, up against the shoreline over there, or over here, and just let it sit for a minute. Record this. We got a couple chunks here. Here where I put them. All right. So with the head, you'll just put it through the eye and then out.
Yep.
And then here, I'll just go in like that and then up.
Cool.
Just kind of around the spine area.
Mm-hmm.
What's important is that you leave a lot of gap in the hook for the fish's lip to bite and get around it.
Yeah.
If you fill up that entire gap, then you're really not going to hook it. It's a very bad ratio, hookup ratio. And I'm going to get right up in here between these two dogs.
All right.
Fish on. Okay. That was quick. It is all right. Yeah, horrible lighting. We'll catch more. So right here, I'm casting here because you've got just about everything. We're on the outside bend of a creek. We've got pretty good structure with the pilings, and they're like encrusted with a lot of barnacles and oysters. And then you've also got like a little side indentation of a creek. There we go. There's something. Another flounder. Yeah. Feels like a good flounder. Feels a little heavier. Not quite an eater, but a decent one. All right. Flounder number 2. Right there. Send that one back. I think that's not worth measuring. That's 13.5, 14 inches probably. So right there was a huge blow up. That's between us on the outside edge, and then cast cut bait right up on the grass line right here. All right, so you're kind of naturally just resting against that dock. So then just take your cut bait on that Carolina rig and put it between us on the grass line. Kind of as close to the grass as you can. Right there in that little pocket's gold. Oh, he's way up in there. There's a redfish just smashed something. Sink your bait up in this little creek, man. I think you're likely to catch something. There's a redfish that's going up that creek and smashing bait that's moving up it. You can give it a shot and then move up a little bit and then cast even farther in there. But that redfish was probably 20 feet into that creek. Really similar to yours. I'm gonna go up it. I'm gonna cast my way up there a little bit in case there's anything right here at the mouth of this creek. There's a flounder right there already. All right, tiny little guy. Baby. They sit right here at the mouth of these little creeks. That's the last 3 I've caught, have just kind of been right there in the very center of these little creeks. He was right there in the mud. You can see his mud still sticking up, but little tiny baby. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking way up here. These redfish will come up in these little tiny side creeks. It's really hard to get in there because they'll hear you moving through that grass. But I did see something in there a minute ago. I don't know if I can get in there without disturbing it. And I'm gonna paddle a little bit here. Try and paddle quietly to right there, that little bend. That first little bend is where I'm gonna cast to. If I can do it quietly. There's some currents moving in kind of a weird way. It makes me think there's a fish there. I'm just gonna set this down super lightly, hopefully without spooking anything. But it's good to have like a deck mat or something. But just this little pocket, I bet that's just deep enough for a fish to be in. Oh, that was the worst cast of my life. Just deep enough for a fish to be in while he's waiting for more water to go up this creek. At least that's my theory. Right there. All right, check my drag. I'm gonna give it some twitches. Twitch, twitch, twitch. Real twitch, twitch. Nothing. There it is. I'm on. I knew he was there. Yeah, buddy. All right. Heck yeah. Just net it real quick. You had no chance, buddy. No chance. I'm just fishing a really tiny little creek. They're staging to go up even shallower. I just scared a redfish right there. Makes me think that there are fish all in this pocket. I'm gonna cast around right here. So when I say a redfish, look down. You see that mud? I didn't make that mud. I wasn't there. A redfish was something, a fish, it could have been a flounder or a trout. A fish just took off and it just made all that mud right there shoot out. And there's a fish. Hey, there's some redfish over here, buddy. That redfish was right here in this mud. There it is, number 2. Love these conditions right now. I'm gonna, because I know there's some fish here, I'm gonna see if I can get them to eat the way I want them to eat, the exciting way to eat. But I think there's more fish right in front of me on this bank. And then on the left side, there's like a deep trough. You're about to go over, you're going over oysters, I think right now, and then you're gonna go over a trough. Okay. Super shallow, and then it gets deep. Did you see any fish in that little creek?
Yeah, there was one big one, and then I got snags.
Yeah, cast up here, man. There's some between me and that pole. I got one on right now. Another red. So cast right up to that pole in front of me. I think there's a school of these rats right around here. Yeah, it's hard to be sneaky in that little creek.
Yeah.
Like they're there, it's just hard to be sneaky. There's a fish. Felt that bite. That was a trout. Decent trout. All right. Not a big one, but that's for sure a slam. It's actually a slam a few times over. I just don't know if I showed you all the trout I've been catching. Grab my failed stakeout pole. This thing's too short, made out of like half of a broom handle. All right, I think you're set up for success now.
All right.
Let's catch a good red, man. Let's get you a good one. This is a sweet spot. In that closest corner. And then we'll go try a new spot. I'm taking out somebody who's a little bit newer to fishing, and I've kind of been focusing on trying to get him on fish and get him in some spots, give him the opportunities of the first cast at a lot of them. But it's been a good day. I've got another area that I want him to hit, and maybe we can pull out a big redfish out of. If you're liking this content and you want to see more, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe. It's like muddy, shallow coves like I know this is. Still find some fish on a higher tide. Sometimes the mullet and the shrimp will hang out there. There's a decent pinfish, we can cut that up. Let me see your hook. There you go. You had a hit? Yeah, again with that circle hook, you just maybe cast it back there again and then just put it in your rod holder. All right, y'all, I'm back at my home base. A lot of that video was just about positioning the kayak and where you want to be and kind of where I pick out some spots and why I pick those spots out.
and also setting up your passive and active baits. So if you guys enjoyed that, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 500 so I can get my community feature, so I can get even more feedback from you guys, and you guys can tell me where it is you want me to go. And I'm hoping my next trip is gonna be out to the inlet or the harbor areas, so I can really try to get one of those bull redfish, because it is October. And hopefully the next time, in just a few days, you guys will see me on the video with a big bull reds right across my lap. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys in another few days.